Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today, it's Sunday, which means it's Sunday Funday, and boy, oh boy, do we have a fun show for you guys today. We're going to be doing a draft to basically rank all of the King of the Ring winners and the Queen of the Ring winners ever. It's going to be a super, super fun show. Controversial like these ones always are, but it's going to be a load of fun. Make sure you guys in the comments throughout the show give your thoughts. And if you're watching on demand, well, comment yours as well. Who would you rank first? We'd love to find out. But let me firstly introduce the panel for this show. And let's start with the co-host. Clark, how are you today, Clark?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's Sunday. It's a fun day. You know I love drafts. I'm excited to have a draft today. Let's get right into it, dude. Let's get after it. The King of the Rings and then the Queen of the Rings? Yeah. Lord of the Rings. I'm ready for it.
Maybe. I mean, listen. There's somebody won't get an extra draft pick in this. Maybe whoever it is, which spoiler alert, it's me, who gets one less pick, picks a Lord of the Rings character. Maybe that's how we get around this issue.
Definitely get a Lord of the Rings character. That's the key.
Yeah. Seems like the only solution. Also joining us today, we have Shad. How are you, Shad?
It don't matter if it's Don King, Larry King, LeBron James, who's the king. Shad is going to win this competition, but I'm good, my good brothers. I love Sunday Funday, so let's have a blast today, man.
Absolutely, and last but certainly not least, he's back from his honeymoon. Well, he actually returned yesterday, but I wasn't here yesterday, and that man is Jordy. How are you, Jordy?
I'm good, man. If we're going to talk about King of the Rings, so I thought I would wear all my rings to say maybe I'm the King of the Rings, so... That was all I had. I was literally frantically put them on because everyone made a ring reference. So I thought I'll try and contribute somehow. But no, I'm good, mate. It's good to be back from the honeymoon, and it's good to be talking wrestling, and it's good to be. This is my debut on a Sunday Funday, so yeah, let's have it.
Nice. Yeah, they are always fun. They're always chaotic, and when Clark's involved, they're usually controversial. But basically, guys, let me explain it all to you. I did a spinny wheel draw earlier on. I sent everybody involved a video of it just to prove to everybody that, hey, this isn't rigged.
Weighted wheel.
And yeah, just so Clark wouldn't start a conspiracy. And yeah, basically we can, I'm first, Jordy second, Shad's third, and Clark is fourth.
Right, of course.
They're going into the second round. Clark will have the first pick, so he'll basically go in a zigzag. And I'll get one less pick. So technically, I've rigged it against myself.
Perfect.
But
fair.
I mean,
serpentine.
Yeah. But basically. But let's kick things off. I'll kick things off with my first pick, the first pick of the King of the Ring draft. In my opinion, the greatest King of the Ring winner ever is somebody who won the tournament and immediately elevated his career to a new height. And from there, I mean, his upward trajectory was insane. And he became one of the biggest stars that this industry has ever seen. And that is Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1996. I mean, that post King of the Ring promo, it is iconic. No doubt about it. And for me, he's the number one pick. He's getting number one. He's getting chosen. He's getting picked as the number one. The King of the Ring tournament, to me, you know, yes, it can be a fun gimmick at times, but I think the real purpose of it is to elevate the career of a wrestler. And I don't think there's a better example of that than Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, yeah, I mean, what did you guys think back in the day? I mean, Clark, were you a fan of that, the Stone Cold King of the Ring?
One of my favorite promos of all time. I can't believe,
what?
Not many people got Jake Roberts. What? No, but I mean,
That's
you made a Bible joke. It was wild, right? And then Awesome 316 stuck around forever. It's one of the most iconic promos of all time. People also forget he wrestled twice that night. He wrestled twice that night, and one of my
Still
fondest
making
memories.
money off the t-shirts as well.
Still making money off the t-shirts. To me, it's the most
got
logical.
two in my closet.
Exactly. Like I've got a few of them myself. I've got the bobblehead. I've got all the action figures. It's too much. I mean, like Ben, it's the most logical number one pick. I think you made the right pick there.
That would have.
Thank you very much.
He was number one on my draft board. I didn't imagine that he would have failed to me at number 3. And like everything that you said, man, that transcended who we see today as Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is, if not the greatest, like just on script promo that we've heard. It's one of those monumental promos, like Clark said, biblical reference to it and whatnot, and how he was able to be witty enough and, add his flair to it. Amazing, man. And that entire route to the King of the Ring was incredible too, man. He was cooking leading into it. So great pick.
Absolutely. But Jordy, I believe you're up next. Who are you taking as your first pick?
Well, I have got a problem with your first pick because it was my first pick, so that's my only issue with it. But I completely agree with you. It's a tricky one now, but I'm gonna have to go with somebody who I didn't experience as much as I wanted to. But when you look at the record books, it's hard to not kind of put Randy Savage in there at second.
No,
good pick.
Listen, it's somebody that I never, like I say, experienced as much as I wanted to. But I've seen clips of the past, and knowing that during this reign, he was kind of came across or was being portrayed as a heel, but throughout the reign, and because he was that good, kind of turned the crowd and they started cheering him. That doesn't happen that often with people. We've seen it kind of happen recently with people like LA Knight, and it is a rare thing that when they're being portrayed as a heel, they end up coming across as a face. So I'm gonna put Randy Savage in at second, and by the sounds of it, Clark's not happy about it.
Honestly, that was my plan. I thought he would slip to me at 4. And I had like a bunch of tidbits ready. He won the King of the Ring on September 4th, my birthday, 4 years before I was born in 1987. He's the only King of the Ring winner to defeat a king, King Kong Bundy, to win the crown. And I just, an icon. Great pick, Jordy. Of course, I was upset because he was number 2 on my draft board, and I thought he might slip to me all the way at 4. But another really logical pick. I only disappointed because I wanted him for my squad.
Logic's probably going to go out the window for me from this point onwards, so I just thought I might as well make my first pick logical.
Oh yeah, brother! The Macho Man, Randy Savage, incredible pick, man. That he was definitely on the top of my power rankings too. But it's all good. My big board is still all right. Yeah.
Well, it is time for your pick, Shad. Who are you taking in round 1?
Heary. With my next selection, all hail King Booker! I'm taking the 2006 King of the Ring, Booker T. You know I'm the Tuesday Night Delight, so I gotta pick a fellow commentator on NXT. But Booker T's reign as King of the Ring was one of the most entertaining characters that we had. I vividly remember in 2006, it led to him potentially. I think he beat Mysterio a little after that, right, for one of the belts a little bit after that too. And just I know a lot of people get tired of like the character aspects of it, but like he made that character so good. He was playing it to a T. The charisma, the just outlandish royal-esque acting, and of course the beautiful Queen Charmel being there with him as the manager throughout the way. Incredible, man. I gotta go with King Booker. That holds nostalgia to me because that was a King of the Ring I enjoyed a lot as a young, teenage kid and whatnot. So I'm going with Booker T.
That is a great pick indeed. I mean, he is somebody who really, took that king persona to another level, made it really entertaining as well, and of course, advanced his WWE career massively. But great first pick shot there.
Yeah, that is a rock solid pick. I also think he utilized the king gimmick
Yeah, he's
the
one that
best maybe
sticks
of
out.
any King of the Ring winner, and that's a huge factor, right? This is about, Ben, you said it in the beginning of the show, this is about elevating the talent, and it changed course for him. He became an immediate threat in the world title picture, carried it well. It's one of the more, I feel like it's remembered more fondly than it was appreciated when it was happening.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's one of those cases like it was also one of those things where it's a good way to reinvent himself too. Like we see wrestlers trying to reinvent themselves and have a fresh style to their character, and that was an incredible way to reinvent himself, man. So yeah,
That
Absolutely.
is a
Yeah, I
great
agree.
shout indeed. I mean, Clark, who are you taking as your first and then second pick, technically, because you got the next two?
So he fell to me. I'm excited about it. I did the dates thing about Macho Man, but I've got another dates thing here. September 7th, 1991, 3 days after Clark Taylor was born. The Hitman Bret Hart wins his first of 2 Kings of the Ring, defeating father of Bray Wyatt, Erwin R. Shyster, IRS. This is a huge one because nobody embodied the workhorse part of the King of the Ring thing more than Bret Hart. He's an absolute technician, classic matches across the board. I will definitely take him easily out of the gates. And if you want me to give my next one right away, do you want me to give my next one right away?
Before you do, I actually want to
Yeah, let's
add
break it down.
something. That is hugely controversial because, I mean, it's widely regarded that that is the lesser of his 2 King of the Ring runs.
But it's closer to my birthday.
It's personal.
You'll be at the Instagram comments later on, like, oh, I can't believe Clark did that. Just goes to my birthday. I mean, it's a valid point. Fair enough.
It's still the Hitman.
It is.
Same guy.
It is. But
that's
who
funny.
you taking for pick number
Okay,
5?
the second one I'm really excited about too. I'm going to stick with technicians. I'm actually going to go 2000. Kurt Angle defeats Rikishi to win his first and only King of the Ring. But I'm taking Kurt Angle, the Olympic hero. He won Olympic gold for Team USA with a broken freaking neck, and he was giving up 25 pounds or more to every single opponent. Then he also, speaking of giving up 25 pounds or more, giving up 25 pounds or more to Rikishi. No doubt about that. Gets the W, one of the all-time greats, and I love Kurt. So yeah, I'm taking Angle.
I mean, that's that as well. I mean, honestly, I've never once heard anybody ever say that, Kurt Angle won the Olympics with a broken neck. Never heard that once. No.
that was who I was hoping that was gonna fall back to me on this next go around.
Yeah, I had it in the bank as well, but I was hopeful. It was a bit too hopeful, clearly.
Oh no, I was to be honest with you, I thought the same thing. I was hoping that perhaps that might happen. I mean, Shad, I want to go to you next. Who are you taking as your second pick in number 6, the 6th best king or queen of the ring?
We are going to stick with one of the most legendary families, those who rock in the dungeon, but we're going 94, and we're going Owen Hart as my next selection.
Ooh, great pick.
Um, let's talk about the route how he got there. He had matches with the 1-2-3 kid, known as X-Pac, in the finals beating Razor Ramon. We spoke about him last week on Throwback Thursday. Owen Hart had a magnificent career, and I thought just the portion of how he got to that throughout the tournament and then just everything tied to it was phenomenal. He's arguably one of the best King of the Ring winners as well. So I'm going to go Owen Hart 94, and I'm feeling good about that pick.
I like it
That
too.
is a strong one.
Beating Razor Ramon too at that time in '94 was a huge deal.
Crazy. Yeah.
He wasn't necessarily the favorite to win that match.
That is a strong pick indeed. I mean, as well, that really elevated him as a singles competitor. That was, hey, I'm important too, and
Yeah.
I mean, it really
Put
did.
him on a
We
map.
spoke about elevating people. It elevated him, no doubt about it. A great pick there. Jordy, what about you? Who are you going as your next pick?
See, now I am torn between 3, 4, but I'm gonna go with someone who I think got to the bigger picture quicker after it in a quicker sense. So I'm gonna go 2002 and Brock Lesnar. Just because I don't know whether he needed it and whether he was probably going to find himself within that main event picture eventually, but won the King of the Ring sort of 3 months after an on-screen debut, I think. And then after that, another 3 months later, he won the heavyweight championship. So at the time, so I'm pretty I don't know if anybody has kind of used it to propel them in that quickly to just go straight to that main event picture. But it's kind of hard not to put someone like Brock Lesnar when I'm drafting and I'm imagining it that this is kind of my team. I always would want him to be a part of it, really, especially when it comes to beating people up, which essentially is what King of the Ring is. You just beat people up and you'll be the last one standing. And I think he'll always be in the running if he's a competitor within the tournament.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
great shout. I'm going to be honest with you. When I did my first pick, what was it, 7 picks ago now, I did not for 1 second think that Brock Lesnar would still be in the running this late, because we talk about elevating careers. It elevated his career. It was like he just debuted a few months earlier. He came in and was like, I mean business, and he meant business.
Mm-hmm.
That one.
And he had some opponents up there in that tournament too. Like he beat RVD in the finals, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he wrestled Booker T, I think. If I'm not
Well,
mistaken.
famously, he was supposed to beat Austin, and that was when Austin took his ball and went home.
Home. Yeah, that's also a very strong point to that too. That is that.
Yeah.
But now O2 Brock was a different beast, as he calls himself. So
yeah,
he really was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's back to me now, and I'm gonna. Oh, it's a tough one, but there's one obvious one which still hasn't been taken, right? And it's the one who I gave Clark. I made fun of Clark for not taking, but I'm gonna take it. Bret Hart, 93. I mean, come on, this guy defeated Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect, and Bam Bam Bigelow to win. But not only that, this 1993 win represented a moment in WWE where the style kind of transition from big men to a more technical, smaller guys being able to be in the main event picture. And this was when the King of the Ring tournament, it was a lot bigger, it was a lot more prestigious than it actually was in 91. And I mean, I honestly think it's one of the most monumental King of the Ring winners of all time. So yeah, I'm going Bret Hart as pick number 8 for me. I mean, I honestly cannot believe
it's a great pick.
You went 91 over 93, Clark.
I told you it was closer to my birthday. It's only 3 days after I was born, dude.
Ever so valid point that you have to make.
Yeah,
I would do the same,
3
bro.
days is that's good.
Yeah, and I like that he beat IRS. The little Bray Wyatt connection there. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I like anyone that beats the IRS, not even just the wrestler.
Yeah.
And it was the first one, so you never know. Would he have got the second one without the first one? So you never know.
I'm not encouraging tax evasion. I'm just saying.
I honestly thought Clark was gonna go Bret and Bret back and back. That would have been kind of funny.
It would have been funny, but
that's what I thought he was gonna do.
I would have had the Bret Hart twins. I almost went Bret Owen back to back, but I really wanted Kurt Angle.
Kurt was a good shout too.
Yeah,
Kurt or Brock was who I expected to get as my second pick. But hey, I'll take Bret Hart 93 any day. But we're going backwards once again. I'll be second.
No, it's you again.
Wait, what am I saying? I get now another pick.
Yep.
So great. I mean, this is when it'd probably be nice for me to decide who I was going to take ahead of time. You know what? I'm going to take somebody who he was a big part of me of wrestling when I got into it. And this was the moment we talk about elevating careers. This really elevated his career, and this was Edge in 2001. I mean, this went from him being a tag team guy to a solo star, defeating Test, Perry Saturn, Rhino, and Kurt Angle. Then in the final, I mean, it took him a bit to get
that
going.
was the previous King as well. That was the previous king. So
Yes,
that
it
he,
was.
so
Yeah.
Edge is another person that has been like, because at that time Kurt was the reigning king,
Was the
wasn't he?
reigning
So
king. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great point indeed, Jordy. So yeah, I guess as my number 9, I'm taking Edge, but we're now going back round to you, Jordy. I mean, who are you gonna take?
I was going to take Edge again. You've took my pick, but I did have a backup, and it was between these two. So I'm going to go the game. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Obviously, he won King of the Ring, and we talk about elevating careers, and if it's a stepping stone onto greater things. Not that the reign was great, but the feud that spun off with Mankind after the final was kind of did great things. I think for both of them at the time. Obviously. Triple H then went on to form DX later on, and the rest is history. And he just went and further. And he's now, you talk about obviously Edge being a huge part back then. And if you're a huge AEW fan as well, it is a huge part now, but not a bigger part than what Triple H is now as a wrestling fan, with him kind of being the face controlling it all, or maybe not back in the board or whatever. Who knows who actually pulls a trigger and has that final decision, but certainly they portray on screen that Triple H is the man. So yeah, he's the king of kings, you know. I guess
That's true.
that's it. He kind of went on and used the moniker. It was years probably after that I think he started saying King of Kings. I don't know if he started saying it right away. I might be wrong about that. Might get crucified in the comments, but yeah, I'll put Triple H in my third pick.
That is a great shout indeed, Jordy. I mean, yeah, Triple H, he was between him and Edge for me. And I was actually going to go Triple H until the last second, and I was like, Edge means more to me.
I would have done the same, mate. I remember that King of the Ring reign more than I remember Triple H's because I was 3 when it happened, but I agree.
I mean, the interesting thing about this is we spoke about, my number 1 draft pick, Stone Cold's King of the Ring one. Well, it was originally meant to be Triple H that year. It was meant to be, the year earlier, but of course, because of the curtain call, it abandoned that, and it happened in '97. I mean, listen, that was one of the greatest things, I guess, to ever happen in wrestling because of that, Stone Cold happened.
Who would have thought, though, you get punished that bad just for going out and hugging your buddies in a cage?
Yeah. I mean, they broke the fourth wall.
Can't be doing
They could have
that.
covered it up like it was respect or something in the end. Like, hey, we fought. Like, that sounds like a common AEW storyline now that they just hug it out and they're suddenly friends again. Like, I mean, Daniel Bryan and Eddie Kingston are somehow teaming. Anyway, that's not a story for today. That's
it's not a collision.
I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys complain about that on Thursdays and Allison analysis. But up next, of course, we have you, Shad. Who are you taking?
With my next pick, I'm gonna go and select one of one, man. And a lot of people are probably gonna murder me in the comments because they are like, "This is a horrible pick. This is a reach." But I don't care because there's only one of one, and there is only one Queen of the Ring at the current juncture of time. And I'm gonna take the First Lady, the Queen herself, Queen Zelina. I love that we've implicated a Queen of the Ring into WWE. I'm super excited for this tournament that is gonna occur. But I think Zelina Vega did great character work, like Booker T did. I think she honed into it very well. I love the tag team personally of her and Carmella. Right, I thought they were both outlandish, bougie, snobby in ways, and I think she played it very well. I think Zelina Vega is a wrestler who is criminally underrated and who deserves to be pushed way more to the moon than she is. And obviously, I heard unfortunate news that she is hurt and she's not going to regain, an opportunity to be back-to-back Queen of the Rings. But there's only one first-time winner, and she's that. So it'd be foolish for me not to get the only Queen of the Ring right now.
That's a great pick. I was going there. I was like, okay, wait, Zelina's still left. I was one away, man. I almost had it.
No arguments at all there. And I agree that she's criminally underrated. I think she should be pushed to the moon. I'm surprised that after Backlash last year, it just fizzled. But
yeah,
I don't even know.
Interesting thing because she was so good. She did so well with that gimmick, but like And they just messed it up, didn't they?
Her and Rhea
They just,
were
like,
well as
abandoned
well.
it.
Bully Ray had
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the best rants about it I've ever heard. He like broke down exactly how they should have done it, and like I'll
About
never
that.
forget it. It was
Look,
perfect.
I think when you compare Queen Zelina to King Xavier as well, I think Queen Zelina was so much better
Yeah.
with the gimmick than you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
it's so.
Oh,
I think she did. I think she did a good
Fa-
job as
faking
well.
the accent, you know,
Yeah.
like just walking out there, like she played like I said, Zelina Vega is one of these superstars in the women's division that can kind of do like everything you need her to do. She's not a bad in-ring wrestler, but like she's got so much like brilliance within a character. She's able to play different roles, either being a lovable babyface or being a snarny, like conniving heel. She does a great job, and I thought she did a great job with the Queen character like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean that is a great point, Clark. No doubt about it. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I think my computer's next to breaking here because I'm trying to edit it at the same time. I'm trying to make the graphic at the same time, and now I cannot see. I mean, am I lagging for you guys, or can you see me fine still?
You're actually fine for us. Interestingly
Oh,
enough.
okay.
Yeah.
There we are.
I
That's
mean, it's
fine
like a
then.
little choppy on the video, but the audio comes through
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm currently looking at a picture of myself from about 3 minutes ago. But
It's
but
classic.
Clark, I want to find out who you're taking as your third pick for this round.
This is one, interestingly
third
enough,
pick for this
I'm
round.
surprised, very surprised, slid all the way to me. And that is a guy from Quitman, Missouri, who headed north, not to Old England, but New England, Foxborough, Massachusetts, defeated Pedro Morales for the second ever King of the Ring, one of the most iconic action figures and images of all time, one of wrestling's greatest tough guys of all time, often emulated, never duplicated, Harley Race, 1986. Harley Race, absolute legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. And I've got Team Tough Guy at this point. I've got some absolute killers on my squad here between Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, and Harley Race. If they're a 6-man tag team, I don't know who's beating that team.
No, that is a very solid team for sure. But I mean, Harley Race, he is somebody as well, where he was actually probably the first one to, not even he was the first one to, actually have the King gimmick.
Right.
And because the first year, of course, it was a glorified house show. Like they didn't really have, exactly plans for it. They were like, oh, this will be, entertaining or whatever. But I mean, hey, we're now 3 rounds in, guys. We've all had 3 picks each. Technically, I'm over halfway because I have one last pick. But I'm now gonna get us up the graphics of who we picked so far. I mean, I'll quickly go around. Shad, are you happy with the names that you've been able to get so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got arguably one of the best character gimmicks as a King of the Ring of Booker T. I got one of the best technical wrestlers and people that kind of built their career as a single star with Owen Hart. And I got the first lady that was the first ever Queen of the Ring. So I'm very happy with how I'm drafting so far.
Oh, yes, indeed. No, I think you probably, do have some of the best, that is for sure. But hey, let's now look at the tail of the tape. So I don't know if you talking like UFC. Let's look at who we've got
The
so
current
far,
draft
right?
board.
Yeah, the current draft board, the picks are in, whatever you want to say. Here it is, right? Technology's finally working with us. Right, so I took Stone. I took Stone Cold, then Jordy took Randy Savage, Shad took Booker T, Clark took Bret Hart, 91. Then he took Kurt Angle 2000. Shad took Owen Hart. Jordy took Brock Lesnar. I took Bret Hart 93. Then Edge. Then Jordy took Triple H. Then Shad took the one and only Queen of the Ring, Zelina Vega. And then, of course, Clark with Harley Race. A great shout indeed. We are 12 picks in out of the, what is it? The 20, the 24
3.
that we'll have. 23 that we'll, of course, 23 that we'll have. I unfortunately I'm gonna have a watermark where my pick would be. But
You're getting one of the Lord of the Rings characters. We already established that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I'll have to draft
Frodo or Schmeagol. We'll find out.
But guys, one thing which we won't have to find out, but one thing we will have to find out about is which one of you guys is going to get the $100 gift card that Next Level are giving out. Because in case you guys haven't heard, they are giving away a $100 WWE shop gift card, and all you have to do is go to nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic, scroll to the bottom, and it'll explain to you how to enter the giveaway. Basically, Next Level, they put all our links in one place. You can see all our content in one place. Oh, and it's completely free. There's no catch. They have a phenomenal app with a thriving wrestling community. Guys, it's a win-win, no matter how you look at it. But, Clark, I believe it's now your pick once again. So who are you taking to kick off round 4?
I'm excited about this pick because you can't be first if you don't do it first. And I'm going to go with the original Rock. The Rock, Don Morocco from Hawaii, from Oahu, the inaugural King of the Ring champion. Yes, you did say earlier that it happened at a glorified house show, but you got to start somewhere. And you don't start somewhere without the Rock, Don Morocco, beating the Iron Sheik. Same city, ironically, as the 1986 King of the Ring, Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots play.
I actually didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all, actually, the same venue. But that is super interesting. Of course, like you said, the inaugural King of the Ring winner, but also, like I said, it was a glorified house show.
He did defeat the Iron Sheik, though. You have two Hall of Famers going one-on-one. He beat the Iron Sheik. You have to start somewhere. It's one of those that's going to be more fondly remembered than it was relevant at the time. Wasn't as big of a deal as it could have been, should have been, but it is now. We all know it is now because of what the King of the Ring has become. And you got to have that foundation. And also, Don Morocco is one of the greatest of all time. And I just wanted to do the hang loose for Don because he's Hawaiian. I love it. So I was really excited about that.
I mean, Shad, what about you? Who are you picking?
Man, with my next pick, I'm staying in the theme of just great characters that I like. And I think this was kind of an accolade for one of the best characters in the late 80s, 90s. And I'm going with I believe it was 88, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1988. I'm going with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He beat Randy Savage in the finals for this King of the Ring. And I think it kind of, like y'all was saying, it kind of helped build him as a serious competitor in his time within that time frame in the WWE. So I'm going to go with Ted DiBiase.
A great pick indeed, Shad. I mean, he was again somebody who, really, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, really. And it's kind of a pity at times that he's not higher on this list because they fumbled it a little bit with him. But I mean, the $1 Million Man, King of the Ring, that's a match made in heaven when it comes to, a gimmick. I mean, who are you taking up next, Jordy?
I think at this point, this is now where you're like, right, I am picking personal favorites because we've been through a fair few now to say that most people from this point on didn't have the best reign as King of the Ring.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to go Sheamus.
Oh, yes.
Although, because he'd actually probably accomplished better things before he won the King of the Ring, and usually it goes the other way around. Having this, I think, makes him one of the only people that I think has won Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, and Royal Rumble. I think Edge is the only other person to do it. So Sheamus has had a hell of a career, and I think that's what I'm picking on at this point because, like I say, I think all the people who had the best reigns as a king or queen of the ring have now been picked. So I'm purely picking on favoritism, and Sheamus is my boy, so I want him in my team.
I mean, the crown did look good on him. I will say that, but you are also right, to your point that, most of his success had already come at that point. Like, he debuted, and people forget, within pretty much a year. He won the WWE Championship 2 times, I think it was. It was ridiculous. Like,
and he was seen as a threat as well. Yeah, I think he was one of them people that you looked at him and thought, yeah, he could beat up John Cena. I don't doubt that. So then you didn't sort of dislike the fact that he was a heel.
I think I disliked when he debuted. I didn't really like him when he first came into the WWE.
Oh,
and that's kind of when I started falling. I know. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, man. He just wasn't. That was when I was starting to get away from watching wrestling. Maybe I
kind of
was
in the
like a
same
teenager.
as
You were in the same, but
Shad.
you were around
Yeah.
my age at that time. I
Yeah,
was
like I
probably
didn't,
15, 16 at that point. I was just like,
I would say I didn't like get Sheamus until later. Like, and I realize now in hindsight, maybe I didn't watch enough. But
Mhm.
to your point, like when the debut was happening, I was kind of like, who's this guy? Like, he's gonna get sunburnt by the
Maybe we're
lightning.
closer. Maybe we're closer to Ireland, Ben. Maybe you guys are different side of the pond, and that's something.
touche.
Yeah, that could be.
Touche.
I genuinely thought when I saw him, I was like, just somebody that can cause a threat to Cena and Orton and people like that at the time was something that we missed, and I thought he could do that.
Especially now, I realize how great and talented he is. Don't get me wrong. My initial impression of him wasn't as good as I think a lot of people. Yeah.
I do like him now. Don't get it wrong, people. Don't.
Oh yeah.
All of our European fans do not, chop
I'm a
me in the
Sheamus fan
chest for
too.
that take. All right.
Yeah.
No,
I don't want to have a bloody chest like him.
We all heard you the first time, Shad. You hate him. You think he can't wrestle.
1776.
I think it's too harsh, but whatever. As the 16th pick in our draft, I'm taking somebody who, again, listen. This is just going to be straight up controversial. I tuned out for the bit in 2010 when Sheamus won King of the Ring. I didn't actually tune out. My parents stopped me from watching wrestling because apparently it was too violent. But my first actual experience of somebody winning the King of the Ring was King Bad News Barrett. And I mean, listen, it's controversial me picking this guy. Because ultimately, this was like them giving him like the final chance. They were like, this is your final chance to become a main eventer. If you fail, then you're done. And I guess they thought he failed. I found it entertaining at the time. Nothing came from it, but I found it, really entertaining. I thought he did the King persona quite well. But yeah, WWE completely botched it if we're being real from there. But talking about things, being botched. The next pick, right, pick 17 that I'm going to take is actually the 08 winner, 2008 winner, William Regal. Because, I mean, he was meant to get a massive push following this. And obviously things did not go that way. I mean, he should be in like the top 5 here. If things went the way that they planned and he became WWE champion like they planned, I mean, he'd be right at the top here because King of the Ring is made for somebody like William Regal. But, I mean, ultimately, what happened.
He beat Punk.
And he didn't win.
He beat CM Punk is the craziest part.
I know.
Yeah,
it's mind-numbing to think about.
That wasn't good. Man, that's a guy who's so good, and I never understood why he never was a bigger, like main stage star to people. Maybe it's just because the fact that he was able to get you that comedy aspect, and Vince honed into that a lot, where he made him not come off as serious. But like, that dude is so good, dude.
He was from Blackpool, which is like 2 hours away from me. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He was just perfect. He was so great at what he did, and the King just being British, being the ultimate kind of British man, just suited him so well. It should have done so much more. I had hopes just to get at least one of them on my team because they're English, but you've nicked them both.
Yeah,
so.
no, I went for the English guys. I mean, to be fair as well, I don't think we can judge. I think Vince can be blamed to an extent. Obviously, William Regal has been completely transparent with his own issues behind the scenes as well during these times, which certainly, halted his push. But, I mean, seriously, he is one of the best ever to, not go into that proper main event level. And this should have been it, guys. It should have been it because, like you said, Jordy, he was perfect for, that role. I mean, that's all my picks done. But, Jordy, who is your next pick?
Mine is someone who I would say just an absolute botch and they could have done more with, and it's Ken Shamrock, because he, in a similar sense where you look at Kurt Angle, you kind of, like he would suit being a king of the ring. Like if somebody from MMA came over to WWE now and the King of the Ring tournament was happening, it's kind of why I want Gunther to win this current tournament, because it just kind of makes sense. They're like purists to the sport, and they hold the ring sacred, so they want to be the king of the ring. And Ken Shamrock beat The Rock in '98 in the final to win this. Like, that is huge. And then nothing really came of it. But yeah, I like I say, at this point, purely picking because when I want to look at my team at the end, I want to see a team that would win in a fight. And I'm going to have like Brock Lesnar, Sheamus, Triple H, Ken Shamrock on my team. So I'm winning. I'm going to win in that sense, maybe. But yeah, that was a purely personal pick, and they're just someone we could have done more with.
Jordy, my entire strategy was to get a team full of shooters, and you sniped the two former UFC champions from me right from under my nose. You got Brock and you got Shamrock. It was, I was looking for all of the shooters, trying to build a squad, and you sniped both of the UFC champions. I got the Olympic gold, but you got the UFC gold.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sorry, brother.
I mean, what about you, Shad?
It's a great pick.
Taking as your next pick?
Is this my last pick, or I have a pick after this?
No, you have two more. So there's some
two more picks. Man, this is tough because this is kind of like you get to the bottom of the bag. But for me, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a guy who is a person that I don't think he had a great reign either. But I do think he's a guy who I found it entertaining, and I think this is a guy who's also a jack of all trades who does the best that they give him. I'm gonna go with King Corbin.
I like it. I love it. Former chief.
I thought he was funny. I thought it was a little over the top. A lot of people didn't like it, but hey, man, I gotta get a guy who can fight. I gotta go for big time guy, and like I said, I gotta go with characters, and he has a lot of characters. So I'm gonna go with King Corbin.
I mean, that is a good shout indeed, Shad. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it. All I can think about is, of course, during that time, we saw, the entire dog food stuff and all that with Roman Reigns.
Last guy who beat Roman Reigns before, for how long? Mr. Cody? Cody?
A long time.
Let's put some respect, bro. Come on, Cody.
Technically, he got pinned in that one tag match.
Yeah. Which we saw live. But
that doesn't count, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were there. We were there indeed. What a match that was.
It doesn't count.
In singles action, Baron Corbin was the last one before Cody. In actually, I know that you've had a stipulation, ignore me. But Clark, who are you taking then as your wait a second. Yeah, it is you now. Clark, your next two picks. Let's hear them both. Let's hear your
I'm gonna stay in the Hall of Fame and go Tito Santana. I can't believe he's still here this late. Love to get an guy was inducted in 2004, absolute legend of the sport, defeats Rick Martel in 89. Fifth ever King of the Ring winner. Tito Santana, add him to the squad. I've got an all-star team.
Oh, that is a great one. And what about your final pick then?
Well, I had to think really long and hard about this one. And I kept thinking about it, and there's only so many choices left. So I'm going to bring out the scissors. Not rock or paper this time. Billy Gunn. 1999 is my final pick in the draft. Mr. A, double S himself. DX was at their hottest at the time. I thought this would be a bigger deal. He beat X-Pac, but I'm just taking Billy Gunn because I love Billy Gunn. Probably a Hall of Famer in his own right. Is a Hall of Famer in his own right, actually, too. With DX, correct me if I'm wrong on that, right? Mm-hmm. Would he not be in the Hall that way? So yeah, I think I have a team full of Hall of Famers. I did
it. We've got quite a few comments here. We have wrestle takes in the comments. Shout out to you, Cameron. I hope you're doing great. We have TK Threat in as well. Jay's Gaming Spot. Joshua Morrison 09. Al11. X-Brad's gameplay as well. I mean, welcome to the chat, guys. I hope you are enjoying. But now, Shad, it's back to you. Who are you taking as your final pick?
So there's only a couple people left, right? And man, with my last pick, I don't think he had a great reign either, but I love the superstar. I love what it meant for him to win, and I may have liked the build to the King of the Ring more than the actual reign that it is. It's up, down, down team. I'm going with King Woods, man. I also had a bar about him in a battle, so I got to go with King Woods.
That is such a great pick. I mean, he is one as well where, like, there are certain moments in wrestling where, like, it's just deserved. And Xavier Woods deserved that moment. We, of course, a couple of years, he was the only one of the New Day who, hasn't won, the big prize. And it wasn't a WWE championship. But Xavier Woods, King of the Ring, had such a special place in his heart. And I mean, he got it. He's certainly,
I was certainly happy for him.
That was really the only like individual like award like accomplishment he's had. So, and it's unfortunate because the guy's so talented, man.
Yeah,
he truly is. We have Fire Lord in the chat as well. Shout out to you. Brad's gameplay saying he thinks R-Truth is the best King of the Ring winner.
He probably thinks the same. He probably thinks the same.
He probably does. But Jordy, enough about what R-Truth thinks. What do you think? Who are you taking as the final pick in this draft?
Why are you asking me? Why are we going to me on the camera? Like, we know who I have to pick Mabel. Like, there's no two ways about it.
You just got Mabel.
I just got Mabel. Yeah,
one of the Lord of the Rings characters. They were still available.
Well, listen, it adds to my team of just being some people who you wouldn't want to face in a massive group tag match. So yeah, chuck them in. Why not? Yeah, we'll take Mabel. They can bring something to the team of the rest of Absolute Bruisers. So let's rock and roll. Let's do it.
Love it.
It's just a team of absolute just shooters. And
yeah, 100%.
And then
Mabel. And then Mabel.
And then Mabel.
I mean that should have worked out better. I mean I honestly, to be honest with you guys, I know so little about Mabel, the 1995 victory, but like I just know
best thing that came from it is, I will say this: the vignettes of Undertaker before their casket match, building a coffin that Mabel could fit in, with Paul Bearer cutting the promos, is some of the best work of the 90s. That is the one positive that came out of it.
Yeah, that was
those vignettes were ice cold. He's back there and he's just hammering it and he doesn't say anything. And Paul Bearer's just talking about, oh, we needed a casket that Mabel could fit in. Like, oh, it's unbelievable. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. I guess you can say he beat the Undertaker on the way to the finals, and he got a bye. He got a bye through the semi-final, and then beat Savio Vega in the final. Like, it's not bad. But I mean,
through the semi-final is wild.
You always look at it with a bit of a don't you? If it's got a bye, so yeah, there you go. I'll take him though.
No doubt about it. I mean, guys, let us know if you do like this format, where we in a draft, we rank things using a draft format. It's a bit of a new one, but it's a fun one. It's Sunday Funday written all over it. The graphics, the final graphics now currently exporting technology. I mean, it caters shit Wrestling Republic. That's just a known fact, unfortunately. I mean, at least, we've not had any, glitches on screens behind me today. That's still up. We've not had any, interruptions. I mean, it's the first show I don't think I've frozen in a few days. That's the best for sure.
Broken Matt Hardy and Uncle Hattie decided to, relax today. So
yeah,
they
decided to take Sunday off.
Yeah,
and they'll see you Sunday, the day of rest. But here we are, guys. We've got the final on now. Uncle Howdy maybe is showing up though. Now we have got the final King of the Ring draft up on what? It's loading again. This thing where you be.
There you go.
Finally,
we got graphics.
Stone Cold. If I'm not going to do it like this, let's just go over who we have. I have Stone Cold, Bret Hart 93, Edge 2000, Edge 2001, I believe it is. Wade Barrett 2015 and William Regal 2008. Who do you have, Jordy?
I've got Randy Savage, 1987, Brock Lesnar 02, Triple H 97, Sheamus 2010, Ken Shamrock, and Mabel 95.
Oh, I'm Mabel. What about you,
Yeah.
Shad?
We have King Booker from 2006. We got Owen Hart, 1994. We got the only Queen of the Ring thus far, Miss Queen Zelina Vega in 2021. We got the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. We got King Baron Corbin from 2018. And then we have our last King of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken, in King Woods. So I'm feeling good about it, yeah.
Great. And last but certainly not least, Clark.
I've got Bret Hart 91, Kurt Angle 2000, Harley Race 86, Don Morocco 85, Tito Santana 89, and then Billy Gunn 99. And that rounds out my list.
Phenomenal list. In my personal opinion, I reckon Jordy got the win. I reckon he's got the best bunch of King of the Ring winners on
Jordy's
there.
got a classic squad.
I've got the best squad, but I have got the individual worst pick as well. So it's a.
I do have all 5 Hall of Famers though. I'm actually stoked about that. I've got 5 Hall of Famers.
That's true. That is true.
I have one of one until after next week.
Or 6 Hall of
It's all
Famers.
good.
I have 6 Hall of
2
Famers.
weeks.
But guys, on that note, we hope you enjoyed. We'll let the comment section decide who actually won this Sunday Funday, and we'll be back tomorrow for mailbag, where you guys can send us in some posts via our Instagram stories. We'll see you guys then. Peace.